So pet, oh yeah, Yins are crazy. This is it right here. Yins are crazy.
He's doing the worm, I think, at least. You could call it that. And with that, welcome in to episode 2 of the Chris Wormley Show, supported by YinsAreCrazy.com and the Yins Are Crazy podcast. I am, as always, Mike Nicastro. You can find me on Twitter at MikeDupSports1. And more importantly, per usual, I'm joined by the co-founder of YinsAreCrazy.com at Jordan York Music. He's the author of songs like The Pittsburgh Song, Local Legend, Put Down the Phone. Jordan, is it true that you came out of the womb bleeding black and gold?
Yes, and I also came out doing the worm, and now we're fortunate all Steelers season to have him here, and he is part of the Yins Are Crazy family, and it is amazing because the Steelers at 1 o'clock on Sunday are playing the Buffalo Bills, and our guy Big Worm is going to be in there.
So I know every time that we go out and we hang out on the town, whether it's in Pittsburgh or somewhere else, South Florida, people always come up to you and they're like, "Oh my gosh, rap for me. Give me a quick riff. Give me a quick line." Do you have a quick Chris Wormley rap? I'm going to put you on the spot.
It's time to do the worm. Don't be lazy. But every Tuesday, you should tune in to Yins Are Crazy.
That's it. If this doesn't blow up, I don't know what will. Oh my goodness, that was perfection. Hey, and I'll have everybody know that the Baltimore Ravens also just signed a rapper to their team. I can't remember his name.
Van
really.
Morris.
We'll let that one slide, hopefully, for now. And let's get into the Chris Wormley Show. I want to remind everybody to tune in every single Tuesday night, and then you can rewatch it Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. That's the good thing. We are on YouTube. Just subscribe to Yins Are Crazy. Also, make sure you follow us on Twitter at Yins Are Crazy Show, on Instagram at YinsAre_crazy, and every single major streaming podcast platform. We're bringing you some inside the locker room perspective from a starter on the Pittsburgh Steelers, and I can't wait to see what he has in store for us tonight. But first, I want to tell you guys a little something. I want to tell you about our friends over at Yinsylvania.com. They have unique T-shirts, tons of apparel. It celebrates rich Pittsburgh history, traditions, and, of course, sports teams. Duh, we're going to be rocking them all season long. We hope you rock them as well. Head on over, Yinsylvania.com. You'll see it on the screen. Use the coupon code Yins Are Crazy. It's literally on his hat. It's right behind me. Yins Are Crazy. You'll get 25% off all merchandise. Can you even beat that deal? You can't, and you can't beat Chris Wormley. So let's are going to talk to him right now on his show. Chris Wormley, we are so excited to have you back. Week 2 of the Chris Wormley Show. It's always funny to welcome a guest to his own show. It's not going to get old, is it?
No, it doesn't get old, and it took a little adjusting on the whole Chris Wormley Show thing. But last week or 2 weeks ago was a blast, and I'm ready to pick up where we left off from episode 1.
Well, we can't wait to keep bringing it to Steelers faithful out there, because obviously it's quite meaningful. And we had a great first show, thousands of views out there, so we can't thank the fans enough for tuning into that. It's time to get serious, of course, but we like to keep things lighthearted around here. You know that. We're the Yins Are Crazy Show for a reason, Chris. So let's keep it light and fun. I saw on Instagram last night, courtesy of your lovely wife, Alexis Wormley, that you were drawing a purple unicorn. I just want to ask, Chris, is that generally how you prepare for week 1 each NFL year?
It's not, and my daughter is almost 2, so she's getting into some arts and crafts things and things like that, and she's just scribbling, and I'm like, I see myself, I'm picking up the crayon, start coloring, and I actually have it right here. It's
yes.
If you want to take a look, it's not done yet, but we can get a little view of what the.
You did pretty well. I mean, I don't see anything outside of the lines.
I haven't colored in probably 15 or 20 years, but I feel like I've rekindled an old pastime of mine when I was younger.
I'm ready to see that in a museum or like Heinz Hall or something of that nature down the line. I think that's just going to be a serious artifact.
Yeah, I'll get it framed, and we'll see if they can hang it up, maybe like in the concourse of Heinz Field or something like that.
I think it looks good in a great hall.
Yeah. Next to the Lombardi trophies, right?
Yeah, there you go. So let's switch it up on a more serious note. The first depth chart came out, and they have you starting at defensive end. What is Coach Tomlin told you about your role, in this upcoming game on Sunday against Buffalo?
Not a lot's been said, but I think it's what's understood. I was brought in to fill a role like this when a player isn't available. But I'm excited for the opportunity. I've started a lot of games in my career. I've played a lot of football, so this isn't going to be anything new to me. And I'm excited to show the coaches why they re-signed me for 2 more years, and just build off of these next couple weeks.
Yeah. So with that being said, the preseason starts. Obviously, I watch you. You were out there killing it. How has that prepared you, for the start of the regular season, getting those reps in the preseason?
Yeah, my biggest thing this year, I think I've already said it though, but it was just to be healthy this year, going into camp and then finishing camp on a high note. And I feel like that was done, and I feel like that was my biggest goal. Last year I was hurt, 85% of camp, and we didn't have preseason games either. So you add those 2 up, and you kind of saw how it played out for me last year. But it's a new year. I'm excited for this extended role, at least for these first 3 weeks. And I think the preseason, tremendously helped me just get my footing back, a little bit of confidence back, and just get the flow of hitting and playing football. It was much needed this year.
So awesome.
Chris, I want to ask you about Stephon Tuitt. Obviously, a tragedy what he went through this offseason, dealing with a bit of an injury also. He's a great player. He's a great person. What have your conversations been like with him, if any, over the past handful of weeks?
Yeah, I mean, I think when the first of the news broke out about his brother, and I just reached out to him, told him, thinking of him and his family. If he needs anything, let me know. He went through that this offseason, and then a little bit of injuries, throughout camp. But Tuitt's a great player. I think him and Cam are probably the 2 best 5 techniques in the league when you look at over the last couple of years as what they've done as a duo on the defensive line. And I know that he's going to be ready when he comes back to prove a lot of people wrong. I know he's going to continue to work, and he's going to continue to get healthy for this stretch of games coming up for him when he gets healthy. It's an extra game this year, so we're going to need all hands on deck when it comes playoff push time and the end of the season for sure.
Speaking of that, you're going to need TJ Watt at some point. There's no question about that. This is a player, obviously, that's been in the headlines all week. Naturally, you've seen this. You're not oblivious to this whatsoever. We know that he's been around you guys, right? Aside from the contract stuff, what has been his participation like, just being around you guys? And I'm sure he's still been the same leader that he always is, even though he's not fully practicing. Am I right to say that?
Yeah, and it's kind of weird. Like, I see him every day. We're in the meeting rooms. We talk, we chat, we hang out. But it doesn't feel like he's the one that's going through these contract things when you see it on ESPN or NFL Network on the TVs in the locker room and stuff. But yeah, he's the same guy off the field. He's still that leader. We all know TJ deserves what he's going to get paid, and it's just it's that business side of football that I think we all don't really think about until that time comes. And I'm excited for him to get back on the field with us. Obviously, he's a defensive player of the year caliber type player. Should have won it last year. So he deserves everything coming for him. And I'm excited for him to not only get paid, but to be back on the field with us and sacking a lot of quarterbacks.
Well, there's 3 of us in this room that echo those sentiments, that for sure. We can't wait to see it. I want to take a deeper dive into Buffalo a little bit, Worm. You guys obviously suffered a really hard-fought loss there last season in December, 26-15. It was a grind. It was a hard-fought battle. Obviously, you can take some things away from that contest. What are just some baseline, obviously, you don't want to give away the game plan, but what are some baseline adjustments that you guys need to make to come out of here with a win on Sunday?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is stopping Josh Allen. He's the engine of that offense. Obviously, he's the quarterback. He just got paid a boatload of money to be the player that he is. I'm expecting him to take a big jump again like he did between year 2 and year 3. But we're going to have a good game plan. We're going to get after the offensive line as much as we can. And he has some weapons on, at receiver that are going to be a challenge as well. But we're a very good defense. We're excited for the challenge. But I think it all starts and finishes with Josh Allen.
He is so dynamic, Chris. I mean, I don't have to tell you that. Dual threat, versatile guy like that can beat you on the edge running the football, and obviously can just fire missiles all across the field. How do you try and even contain him? Like, what is – obviously for me sitting here, I have no idea what the answer is. He finished second in MVP voting. The guy has all of the tools. But what are some ways to disrupt him, I guess, instead of stopping him?
Yeah, I think we're going to have some certain coverages to maybe take out their best player when it comes to receivers. Keep him in the pocket as much as possible is probably going to be the biggest thing, so he doesn't extend plays. But just continue to get after him, fresh bodies on the field, especially for the D-line, so we can continue to chase after him because, I mean, he's a great player, so he's probably going to get out once or twice. But we got to limit that. We know what he does well, and just continue to get after him on the defensive line is probably our biggest thing for sure.
It'll be an exciting challenge. We're certainly all excited to watch. All right, Worm, I got some trivia for you. Are you ready?
Let's do it.
All right. So in that game, listen, we don't take any moral victories here in Pittsburgh. Like, I think you're well aware of that. But in that game against Buffalo that I mentioned last December, there was one miniature, tiny, minuscule victory, and that was that the Steelers' sack streak was extended in that game. And one sack on Josh Allen, you guys, I should say. Do you know who had that sack that game? It's okay. It's a tough question.
Was it a defensive lineman?
It was.
It was Tyson.
You got it.
He had the sack, and he didn't even. I mean, he sacked him because it was a strip sack. But yeah, I remember that.
You nailed it. So I did have a follow-up to that. Naturally, the streak is still alive. Do you know who had the 73rd sack against the Browns in the final regular season game?
It was Big Worm. Come on now.
Hey, that's what we like to hear on the Yins Are Crazy podcast and the Chris Wormley show. He's answering his own question, Jordan. He knows everything.
He knew that was coming. So kind of to shift gears, talk about like what it's like, the atmosphere going on the road, opening up on the road. I know that the Steelers and I don't know exactly what it was, but I know that you guys, open up on the road a lot. But in terms of getting, the crowd and atmosphere going, starting on the road, what is that like? How do you prepare yourself? I know you guys are on defense, so, it's quieter at times, but like, what is there anything different that you do to get ready for a road game?
I mean, you just have to be prepared for anything. Their fans are probably some of the most fanatic, in the league, jumping on tables in the parking lot. So I'm sure we'll see a couple of those as we're pulling in through the stadium Sunday morning. But no, you got to treat every game, like it's a home game. Obviously, we'd love to play every game at home at Heinz Field with the fans, picking us up, getting excited. But it's always a fun challenge when you go into a road environment, a hostile environment like Buffalo, and play well and get a win. So that's our goal, is to win. And no matter where we're at, that's the goal, and that's what we plan on doing.
Yeah, I have a feeling that sack record, Big Worm, he might have an extension on that come Sunday. So we're going to be rooting for you.
That's the goal for sure.
Glad to hear it.
Hey, Worm, we want to jump into a fan question. We always ask our fans on Twitter to chat with you a little bit. You're engaging, which always is fun, of course. So took the favorite one from this week. It's from @CityOfSteel Thank you so much for the question, first of all. And a classic name, really a great name. Can't knock that. He wants to know about the impact defensive line coach Carl Dunbar has made on you. What has he meant as a coach, a leader, and just speak a little bit more on Carl Dunbar. Thanks @SteelCitySports.
Yeah, when you have a coach like Coach Dunbar, who's obviously played in college, he played 7 years in the NFL. That brings a little more weight to what he's saying to you. He's done that. He's been there. He's done that at a high level. So I appreciate all the little tidbits he gives, not only game plan, scheming wise, but when you're in the trenches, or when you're taking a double team, how to adjust your body, or how to get off blocks to sack the quarterback or to tackle the running back. Just those little tidbits that if you're a D-line coach and you maybe just played in high school or low level college football. Like I said, he just his experience in the league. He played in Pittsburgh for a year or two, I think. So that weight that he brings with his knowledge, I think weighs a little more than if he was just a D-line coach that never played in the NFL. So I appreciate everything that he teaches and the things that I can pick up on that he's preached.
Great stuff. I think I said that wrong at the end there. It's at City of Steel Sports. Thank you so much for the question. Hopefully that was what you were looking for. And I'm wondering, what do his meetings generally look like for him? Does he have everybody sit around drawing purple unicorns? Or no, I'm kidding. I'm sorry. I had to take it one more step. I really just beat a dead horse into the ground, don't I?
That's funny. No, but film we're game planning. Especially tomorrow's our big day where we kind of install a lot of things.
Tell me a little bit more about that. What obviously, without getting into the specific details, what does tomorrow look like from your perspective?
Yeah, we kind of break down what they do well in each phase of the game. Offense, defense, special teams. Coach Tomlin has a nice scouting report for us to give us a little bit of tidbits on everything. But then the big thing is practice and seeing the formations and the tendencies that they have shown over the last year or so, and just try and kind of read and pick up on the things that they do with our scout team is the biggest thing probably for us.
Do you have a favorite Tomlinism, Chris?
He has a lot. I think my favorite one this past camp was the JV versus varsity term. I don't know if you use that in the media much, but that's probably one of my favorite things. And obviously, if you get called JV, you're doing something wrong. So you never want to be in the JV category with him.
Speaking of JV versus varsity, you just told us a really cool story off air. I'll allow you to shout him out, but you said you got to go see your brother this past weekend playing high school football, correct, in Toledo?
Yeah, my brother-in-law, my wife, was a junior in high school back at Toledo Whitmer, where we actually both went to high school. So we went back this past weekend and watched him play, and it was really cool seeing a lot of old teachers and coaches and things like that from when I had last played there. It's been 10 years, so it's crazy to think that 10 years ago I was playing high school football, and now I'm,
game with us.
Yeah,
what happened?
You were guys talking about purple unicorns, but no, it was cool to be back home in the hometown and support him. He's supported me since I've known him since I was 5, so or since he was 5, so he supported me all the way, and just to be able to support him a little bit was really cool.
Before that, you spent some time in Ann Arbor, and obviously I can't leave out the Maize and Blue. This is a team that you were a All-American for, a co-captain, all-academic Big Ten. I always want to bring that up, of course. Just an incredible career. Chris, you also wore 43. I don't know if anybody has ever asked me this. Was there any Polamalu inspiration there?
Yeah, that was the only inspiration.
Really?
Yeah,
I'm sure you've been asked that, I should say. But I was wondering that, and so I'm glad I got to ask it.
Well, yeah, 43 is not the sexiest number for a defensive lineman. And in college, you can pick any number you want, basically. There's no restrictions as far as defensive line numbers. But it all started when I became a Steelers fan, and he was my favorite player. I wore 43 all through like Pee Wee football, and then somehow I got stuck with 47 in high school. So when I got to choose again in college, I chose 43, and that's kind of the story behind it. It's all about my fan and love for Troy growing up as a kid.
That is so cool. Have you met him? Have you got a chance to meet him?
No.
Or talk to him?
I think he was supposed to, come to some of our stuff during the Hall of Fame, but COVID kind of stopped that. But waiting for my moment to meet him and not fangirl too much.
Love to hear it. I'm sure it'll happen.
Yeah.
Sooner rather than later if he gets out to Heinz Field this year. But Michigan had a great win, 47-14 over Western Michigan. Obviously off to a better start. Last year was a challenging season for a lot of Big Ten teams. So the reason you just mentioned, quite frankly, it was just a topsy-turvy kind of asterisk year, if you will. But are you feeling good about the Wolverines this season?
Yeah, I am. I think their defense is squared up a little more than it was last year. They have some NFL coaches there as a D coordinator. He was actually my linebackers coach in Baltimore, so I know he's going to get those guys right. Another year under Cade McNamara's belt as the starting quarterback this year looked pretty good. The running backs ran hard. Ronnie Bell, who's our star receiver, went out with an ACL, I think it was, or something with his knee.
Yeah.
And that's going to hurt the boys. But I know there's probably some great athletes there that are ready to step up and take over the role. But you hate to see someone like him go out in the first game. But they look good against the Broncos of Western Michigan. And this upcoming Saturday, they play Washington night game. So
yep.
It'll be a bigger test. I'm excited to watch them after our meeting Saturday night, and hopefully the boys get a dub.
All right, we'll get you out of here on this. You played for Jim Harbaugh, right?
I did, yeah.
So more demanding coach, or John Harbaugh or Jim Harbaugh?
Oh man.
Maybe I should rephrase that. Who's the quirkier coach? Who has the better sense of humor?
Well, I think quirky and sense of humor are different. Like quirky,
yeah, good point.
Quirkier is definitely Jim. Sense of humor, I think John for sure.
Quirky, the khakis vibe. You're right. Fits a little more with Jim. That's quirky. The khakis every day.
No, but they're brothers. They grew up in the same household. Their dad was a great college coach, so their mindset on how football should be played, I think, is very similar. Hard nosed, tough. But yeah, they're both two great coaches, and I was very fortunate to be able to be coached by both of them.
Very cool. We are winding down here on episode 2 of the Chris Wormley Show. We're all obviously very excited to watch Chris and the Steelers take the field this Sunday against the Buffalo Bills for week 1 of the regular season. We're so happy football is back. We're so happy crowds are back. And it's all just going to make for a terrific weekend. Are you a chicken wing guy? You a wing eater?
Yeah, I just had some last night, actually.
Flats or drums? That's my last question.
I'm a flats guy all the way. If I could have flats in my 20-piece order, that's how I'd have it for sure.
Me too. Strictly flats. Jordan, what about you? Either way?
It depends on whatever mood I'm in, but I'll eat wings every night. My wife doesn't like them, but I just tell her, get whatever you want. I'm getting wings and I'm happy. Football and wings. It doesn't get any better.
That works. We might avoid eating them on Sunday, but any other day, I am with that. Chris, always a pleasure. We'll do it again next week. Hopefully we're talking about a Pittsburgh Steelers win. What do you say?
Absolutely. Sounds good, fellas. Thanks.
Thank you.
All right, man. Thank you so much for tuning into the second ever episode of the Chris Wormley Show. What a great time. Got an inside look at Chris Wormley and, of course, all of the ongoings, what it takes to prepare for a week 1 game in the National Football League. Also want to remind you guys that the Chris Wormley Show is brought to you by Case-Specific Meal Prep. Jordan, it's busy season in Pittsburgh. People are trying to get the kids off to school, running around. They're trying to do all this in one day, working and watching the Chris Wormley Show. It's tough to make 3 meals a day. So why not elicit help from Case-Specific Meal Prep, the most efficient and delicious meal prep service in the burg? Check them out at csmppgh.com. You can attest to them, right? You had some delicious food?
Yeah, I mean, they deliver it right to your house and everything. You just heat it up and it's ready to eat. It's delicious. It's healthy. And, they're great guys, so we love to support them. And, yeah, man, with my busy schedule, I wake up, go to the gym in the morning, start my day, and I don't go to bed until, whenever I get time, pretty much. It's a grind, man. But, Case-Specific Meal Prep, they keep me going. And they can keep you going too.
We want to thank our sponsors, Case-Specific Meal Prep and Yensylvania.com, of course. And I want to remind you guys, all season long, we're going to be bringing you the Chris Wormley Show. Not just on YouTube, not just on YensAreCrazy.com, but we're going to take Chris Wormley to some Pittsburgh establishments. We're going to bring a live audience out with us, and we're going to have some fun in person where you can enjoy a beverage, meet myself, meet Jordan, even though you don't want to talk to us. You also get to meet Chris Wormley. And we're going to have exclusive gear, Chris Wormley gear coming out soon. This is a Yins Are Crazy t-shirt I'm rocking here. But soon we're going to have a Chris Wormley t-shirt. It says the early bird gets the worm. You can see it right here somewhere on your screen.
Worm on camera, but
yeah. You can't do the worm on camera. I don't want you to break anything. We got a long season of shows. So I want you guys to get this because also we are partnering with an absolutely incredible foundation. It's called Cuddles for Kids, CFK. Connor Hagins runs this program, and he does an absolutely terrific job giving back to the community. All of the proceeds from the Chris Wormley Show are either going to go to Cuddles for Kids or they're going to go to some other Pittsburgh impactful, meaningful item. So we want you guys to know that we're going to help support Pittsburgh by doing what we love, which is bringing you Pittsburgh sports content every single week. Right here on the Chris Wormley Show. All right, JY, any last words for the audience?
Go Steelers.
Yeah, that'll work. Follow us on YouTube. Subscribe, Yins Are Crazy. Follow on Twitter at Yins Are Crazy Show. Instagram, Yins_Crazy. Follow me on that Mike Duff Sports 1. He's at Jordan York Music. Chris Wormley, Jordan York, and everybody else. Yins, do me a favor and
stay crazy.
Yins are crazy, but so am I. #1 sports site in the Berg. Let me show you why. The latest stories and unbeatable podcast with your favorite athletes. You know you can't pause that. Super Bowl, World Series, Stanley Cup champs, rising stars, Berg personalities for the fans. We love our city, always Pittsburgh proud. When you're at your job or while you got your cell phones out, breaking down the touchdown goals and home runs, predictions and interview. Who does it like us? No one. Cheering on the Berg squads, no pom-pom. Don't know by now it's Yins Are Crazy.